Let's go inside the Miami Hurricane 5-star weekend, and we got to start with wide receiver Tristan Keys, the number one wide receiver in America, who also happens to be committed to LSU, was down in Coral Gables this weekend. Steve, what's the latest intel?
Well, Tristan Keys told me it's going to take a lot to flip him from the Bayou Bengals, but if there's a program that has a shot to do it, you can't count out Miami. He's been there 3 times this calendar year, twice since he's committed to LSU. He had a great official visit, time spent around Coach Cristobal, Kevin Beard, and the staff. Loves the way they recruit, loves the way this roster is put together. It starts with the offensive line. He says you can't get open, you don't have time to run your routes if you don't have great offensive line play. He loves the emphasis at Miami of the point of attack and guys they've landed, certainly Jackson Cantwell. He loves the offense, how wide open it is, how explosive it is, how wide receivers make plays and are developed by Kevin Beard. And then he likes the quarterback they have committed, Derrek Coleman. He called him a gunslinger, a very successful quarterback from South Florida, going to play in the Elite 11 finals. Derrek Coleman being committed to Miami, another attractive point for Tristan Keys. And then certainly from an NIL standpoint, Miami is a program that you always think can go big when they have to. And so they got a lot to point towards in this Tristan Keys recruitment. He's got a lot of other things coming up though too, Josh, potentially an official visit to Texas A&M this weekend. He's then going to Auburn on June 10th, Tennessee on June 13th. They are at one point considered the favorite, Alabama on June 17th. And then back to LSU on June 20th. He was with the Tigers the weekend before this weekend where he was at Miami. So spending a lot of time with LSU, but Miami, one of the programs, giving him a lot to think about.
Yeah, I don't really know how to view this recruitment, because sometimes when you see a big time commitment like this, who's locked into LSU, if he starts taking official visits, you almost get more concerned if he's only taking one or two. The fact that he's going to go out and take like 5 or 6, do you think that shows that, hey, he's just interested in still hearing out his recruitment rather than he's like zeroed into a particular school?
Yeah, if you're asking me right now if he's going to stick or flip, I'd have him in the stick camp. LSU was the place he always wanted to go. Their history with wide receivers, proximity to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, his relationship with that coaching staff, getting back there 2 weekends ago, going there on June 20th. It's still setting up well for LSU. Obviously, you wish that the number one receiver in the country was taking no visits, but I still think that LSU holds the edge in this recruitment as he continues through his official visits. And with that, you never know where someone might make a move.
Yeah. LSU fans, I know you're carrying that trauma from Decorian Moore and Bryce Underwood still, but right now it sounds like Tristan Keys.
They're carrying their DJ Pickett flag in this recruitment.
Right. Yeah. You gotta focus on the big wins. All right. Back to Miami. Not the only 5-star on campus. Also, defensive lineman, athlete, whatever you want to call him, Lamar Brown was also in Coral Gables. Where's Miami stand there?
Well, he tells me that his recruitment could be Texas A&M and Miami duking it out. There was a time where Jabari Mack told me Texas was his leader and he committed to LSU the next week. So I'm certainly not going to discount the Tigers in this one, who are all in on maybe the best defensive line prospect in the country. He's the number one ranked athlete in the on-3 industry, but he had a great time at Miami with their coaches, players, and other recruits. And he loves the plan that Coach Mario Cristobal and the 2 D-line coaches have for him. And he likes that Coach Cristobal lives in the trenches and says that would play a big part in his commitment. So Miami, one of the front runners for Lamar Brown moving forward.
Local running back Derrek Cooper, local star running back, I should say, was back at Coral Gables. He was in Miami for a visit. What's going on with Cooper in the Canes? Is this legit, or do you think he wants to get out of state?
No, I think that Miami has a great chance to keep him home. He's one of their top targets regardless of position. He feels that way every visit. Him and his family had a fabulous time on their latest experience in Coral Gables. It's a marathon, but Miami's got the running shoes to stay in this recruitment. The rest of the timeline of it, Ohio State and Georgia, certainly 2 others he has a keen eye on, had a really good official visit to Auburn, but Miami pushing hard for Derrek Cooper.
Speaking of marathon recruitments, edge Anthony Tank Jones from the state of Alabama, a lot of talk around him surrounds those in-state Alabama teams, but it's a marathon, and Miami has been working this recruitment. What are you hearing after his official visit?
Well, he said Miami showed a lot of hospitality, was a great experience. Getting around Hall of Famer Jason Taylor, his knowledge and potentially playing for him as an edge rusher, very exciting. He loves the campus, the coaching staff. So he's thinking about a future at Miami. Alabama is the program that I gave the inches to coming into summer official visits, but Miami, Oregon, Texas A&M are three intriguing out-of-state options, and he also already took his official visit to Auburn and had a great time.
All right, let's talk about one more flip target before we get out of here. Brody Jennings, he's committed to Michigan, but he took his official visit to Miami this weekend. Is he on flip watch for you?
Well, yeah, absolutely. You cannot discount the Hurricanes here. He has been there quite a few times since committing to Michigan. He's been visiting Miami since elementary school, he said, because his oldest brother went there. It was another great visit. He's been to Miami 3 times this calendar year. Zach Etheridge, Will Harris, the combination of them coaching the defensive backs, their track record of development, very exciting to him. And Coach Cristobal spent a lot of time with them, made him feel like a priority, called it a special place. Miami is very much a threat to flip Brody Jennings from the Maize and Blue.